welcome everyone to the September 5th edition of the Zooch and Wilde podcast. And week one is over. Man, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I missed college football. Like just watch like that 9 a.m. and with the whole Lee Corso thing, man, college football, it is back in full swing. And you know what? Some of it we got the good, the bad, the ugly, but man, we got it. I was this season was the first time I just like was almost speechless when I first turned on college football. It's like, man, we truly do get to watch talk about the best sport in the world. And I think we got just an absolutely action-packed weekend that I cannot wait to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I would say, almost perfect in terms of even though you could debate whether, like, how good you think Clemson or Texas, how good they are, you also had, like, every game that was like a big time game, like the Clemson, LSU, Texas, Ohio State, and especially Notre Dame, Miami were all great games. Like close
No, it
games, you
was
didn't really know till the end who was going to win.
it was close. I mean, even that Friday nighter, that Georgia Tech Colorado was like a little sneaky teaser. I mean, you had Hugh Freeze at Auburn lighting it up against bald-headed Aranda. So I mean, it was really good. I mean, Lee Corso picks. I mean, I love Lee Corso. Can I say one thing about that situation before we go and talk about Arch Manning and Cade Klubnik, which are probably the two biggest stories coming out of the weekend? Why does Kirk Herb this is a tweet, this is not my own opinion. Why does Kirk Herbstreit's, like, dog get to fly private, and they stuck this, like, poor guy on, like, a Southwest, like, B group, like, flight? Like,
Yeah,
I just hope that he does that, like, on purpose, if I'm being honest with you. Because if they
yeah,
did that, like, someone at ESPN, like, really just needs to, like, reprioritize, like, where they are in life.
when you're putting the dog on the private jet and using like your legend getting his flight with the want to get away Wednesday via Southwest, then reprioritize things. I know it's his last. You couldn't fly him private just for that game. Like, come on.
Exactly, like, someone at ESPN can't go like, "Hey, like, let's fly you out private," and you already know it's like the best way I can put it, it's like paying for, like, a meal with someone. Like, you go like, "Hey, like, I got this drink, I got this lunch." Of course, the person's gonna go like, "Oh, no, 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 like, we split." It's like, you don't just go then like, "Alright, yeah, sounds good, like, perfect. We'll do that." Like, no, like, you
You have to at
you
least
go
throw
like,
out the. Are
"No."
you sure?
Yeah,
Are you
no,
sure you
you
want to
got
do that?
you got like, I don't know. It's just, like, beyond me, but I really like the pick, and all of his picks were correct, and every team that he was associated with won this weekend. But, let's just jump into it, man. The 2 top stories of the week, in my opinion, are just how bad some of the in would you say, like, Heisman front-running quarterbacks looked in Cade Klubnik and Arch Manning? I mean, who do you think looked worse, in your opinion, after watching both?
I would probably lean Cade Klubnik because I thought a lot of the Arch Manning stuff was they were almost too like I understand you don't want to, and part of me doesn't understand it at the same time, so I shouldn't say I understand. I do think you should like if that guy's as good as you've been hyping him up to be, you don't put training wheels
Mhm.
on him in the first game. And I'm not saying you got to go out there and just let him call the game or something like that. But I mean, the dude's been there for 2 or 3 years now. Like, I think he has an idea of what's going on with the offense. So, like, that's the only way you're gonna learn. Like, I don't really believe in the just start him out slow. And like, it's a little different now, which I will say, it doesn't dampen the games. I wouldn't say, but I do think it would have the games might have looked a little differently with how those guys were doing offensively if there wasn't a 12-team playoff because you can realistically you can lose that game if you're Texas or Clemson and probably lose one more and you're still fine. So
Yeah, that's why I kinda, like I'm not gonna, like, beat up on the teams, like, as a whole too much because it's like I mean, we both have Ohio State and we both have Ohio State in our playoff, and I think we both either have LSU or have LSU like just looking out like one of those teams in the SEC in our playoff. So I'm not. It's not that Texas and Clemson can't come back in terms of like a team. It's just when I watched Arch play, it was almost like different, man. Like you said, Arch. The thing that stood out for me with Arch was it's almost like I don't know how to put it. It's like was he pushing balls? Like it's almost like he was like trying too hard at times to make plays. And with Cade, I don't know if LSU's defense is like back to like old school like ground and like fuck you in the face defense or not. But like I think I lean towards you. Like that's the one that shocked me. Like Cade Klubnik, you're supposed to be the senior. Like your team has been hyped up as like the dark horse, like, hey, this is like the best team in the country. I mean, so is Texas to a T, but I think I felt like there was less unknown with Cade, if that made sense, going into that game. Like you expected it to be like, oh, like I think we both talked about it last week, like, oh, you go down. And credit to Nussmeyer, he outplayed him. I mean, not by much, but he certainly did.
Yeah, and it's kind of been following Clemson around for a while now. Like Clemson's defense played, I thought, great in that game. Like you're
That D
you're
line's
just
good.
you're just usually like even a really good defense. Like, and I know like a lot of times they'll be like, oh, this whatever 2012 Alabama allowed like 12.7 points per game or whatever. Okay, yeah, and 9 of the teams they played probably had terrible offenses. You're not gonna hold a team like LSU to less like holding them to less than 20 points to me is a very like I don't even know what you say to your defense. Like I know you'll find a couple plays like, hey, we could have done this, we could have done that to get a stop here. But you also like I in my mind, if you can have a defense that holds people to under 20 points a game and an offense that scores over 30, you're going to set yourself up for to have a really good team. And the Clemson offense just did not hold up there into the. You have to have more than one touchdown. Like I'm not saying you have to go out there and score 42, but you got to get to 20. I think,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if you're. And I know he took a lot of like, you know, blame on himself, which is good. But eventually, people also get tired of hearing that. Like you've been saying that for a couple years now. And you just can't in these big games seem to get the offense going when the athletes on the other side of the field match up with your athletes.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. And to the same point with Texas, I mean, credit to that defense. Ohio State looks like they have the best secondary in the country, like already. I mean, if that's any indication. Caleb, I forget the other guy's name, but they made some NFL. They made a lot of money in that game. I think. I think we're gonna be watching those clips on NFL Network come April for the draft.
And on the flip side, when it comes to Sark, that's like the fifth game in a row, and he's supposed to be like one of the offensive geniuses in college. It's like the fifth game in a row
Yeah,
that
and
they've played someone and can't
yeah,
score. I mean, they
I don't know what his deal is. Also, like I get the tush push like thing, but can teams I don't know. I've just found that game to be so frustrating at times because as someone who chose Texas to win, it was like the plays were there to be made, both coaching and quarterback play. Like why I like the he like you said, he did again, like 4 downs within the 10 against Ohio State. Just almost the wrong play call every single time. Like, it was just incredible to me. And on the flip side with Ohio State, I mean, we talk about that defense, but that offense, like, Julian Sayin, I thought played all right. I think everyone else on that offense really needs to take like a look in the mirror and be like, hey, we might have just beat Texas, but like, we can't play like that and win a national championship. Jeremiah Smith
no,
can't have 2 drops and win a national championship. Like, it just can't happen.
that's what and like there's a difference to me between like and we laughed at a bunch of like memes of like Arch Manning and
Yeah.
Dabo Sweeney and stuff like that. But the people who are online saying like either Clemson or Texas, like they suck. Okay, if those teams suck, so do Ohio State and LSU. It's not like
Mhm.
if it was like 47-10, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe like Texas is really bad. But some people were just a little overboard with the like,
Yeah.
and I think it's just like I think a lot of them are, trying to get traction or like I saw someone like, and it was stupid, like, oh, just so you know, Shador Sanders through, and you can look at all the other podcasts. I've been pro Shador and Deion Sanders. Shador Sanders was playing like a TCU team that went 4-8. I highly doubt that Ohio State is like, and it's that kind of stuff, like comparisons that don't even make any sense. And I was like, all right, like this is just
And I think
like freaking silliness.
there is something a little bit, and I don't know, I also don't like everyone in the media, like, blaming be like, "Oh, man, like, we gotta hop off the Orange bandwagon," or people in the media going like, "How could the media anoint Arch?" It's like, well, why don't we, like, let him play, like, 6 more games? It's like, I fully expect him to, like, play well the next 6 games. Maybe he's not
You
the
also
best
anoint him
quarterback in the
because he is related to two of the like two multiple Super Bowl champion. Like that's why like it's a storyline. That's why they like anointed him. Like
it's so dumb.
you're not gonna have a Manning. I mean, it would be that way with any like if it was Tom Brady's nephew, people would be doing the same thing. Like that's
Yeah,
what
no,
like you create storylines to sell the and
all
it is a
those
product and you need to sell
I
it.
mean, can we talk about 2, like, not I mean, unless I mean, we touched on Ohio State. Anything you wanna say about LSU? I mean, other than that defense looked really, really good. Brian Kelly got the monkey off his back, like, all kudos to them.
Him getting ran over by the ref was
Yep, nope,
the best part of the
that's what I wanted to see, is that when he got although there are reports that it was a phantom run over, that he just tripped and then immediately started barking at the ref out of embarrassment. And can we also talk about, I don't wanna get into the details, but can we talk about what appeared to be Ryan Day's nipple piercing?
yeah, that was
I mean, this is
it.
why I love this sport. This is seriously why I love this sport.
No, it's week one delivered on all like the games were good and most like close, most of them at least the main ones, and like just Twitter was on fire with
It really was.
the memes and like some of them were. We'll get to those later, but
Yeah. No, I mean, the other big news on Saturday that I wanna talk about before we talk about the Sunday game is Alabama, like, absolute, like, meltdown. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, Zooch, where would you put the Alabama panic meter at for this season? Past don't look past this season. For this season, what's the panic meter in Tuscaloosa?
so I think it's. I honestly, God, I think it's got to be like a 7 or 7.5 out of 10 because the way like we talked a minute ago about how like you can if you're Notre Dame, and I think them more so than Texas or Clemson, but all of those are kind of in a little thing of like, all right, yeah, you lost. It's not really going to ding you though. Like if you get to 10 wins, that no one's going to look at a loss at Miami or Ohio State or a home loss to LSU and be like, oh, like this is what's going to keep you out, unless maybe there's this like conglomerate of like 15 10-2 teams or something like that. That one though, with how they looked
They
and
looked
just like
lethargic.
they looked lethargic, they almost look, which is, and it's kind of funny to like look back now, like almost that Nick Saban was underappreciated because you never saw like Nick Saban lost games. Obviously, he was not perfect. Like he didn't finish his career undefeated, but it made like, and I always defended him because he would get like made fun of when they'd be beating like Vanderbilt 59-0, and like the one video of him when he's like, "Will you pay attention? We're in nickel." Like he was that way because he wanted those guys who may not like maybe you're playing in garbage time now, but he ran it like a boot camp, and everyone was going to do their job, and if you didn't, you were not going to play. And we've seen like there's been a ton of guys he had that were great for him and got into the NFL where you're a little bit more like, all right, it's on you now. And they flamed out. And not because they were a bad player, but they didn't have that person there that like held people accountable. And I think that's what you're seeing with DeBoer is there's no accountability anywhere. Like Ryan
No,
Williams was dropping passes. They couldn't like after that first drive, they didn't score another touchdown until the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure.
that
Like
was surprising to me because I was high on Ryan Grubbs coming back. Like, it seemed like they were gonna right the wrongs, and when you look at that, I mean, we talked about how large and athletic that offensive line was. Like, on paper, should be one of the best offensive lines in the country, and it just, like, something was missing. And like you said on defense, like, you got guys laughing after plays. I mean, look, I'm never gonna call out a hustle thing and when I don't really know, right? But, like, it seemed like there wasn't enough juice. It seemed like they weren't maxing out the juice that each player had, if that makes sense.
yeah, and it seemed like they got punched in the mouth and just didn't like I part of me thinks they thought, which like I understand FSU was terrible last year. We talked about it last year and being like, I'm shocked that FSU has two freaking wins. That's
How
like
bad is DJ? Okay, if FSU wins, like, 9 games this year, will DJU go down as the worst quarterback in Florida State history?
he'll be up there. They had a little bit of a rough go at like
Like,
certain
the
times when
Blackman
guys were
era?
injured. Yeah, but no, like I don't understand how you don't go into that game knowing, all right, this is still like Florida State. Like they're still like a premier program. They are in a recruiting hotbed. Like maybe they don't have, a top four recruiting class, but they're going to have some guys that know how to play football
Yeah.
every year at Florida State. It's not, you know, FIU. So, yeah, I would say 7.5 because now the pressure is really on. You looked horrible. You brought in your own guy for OC that is your boy and helped you at Washington. Like I still think DeBoer is a good head coach, but you that is a special job and you have to be special to keep that job. So
Yeah, no, I agree.
if like I don't know that he'll get like fired this year, but if they play like that again, they will have like 4 or 5 losses. Their schedule's too hard for them not to.
No,
So if
it
they
totally
have
is.
4 or 5 losses, like I don't know, like it's a high panic meter though.
Alright, fair enough. You and Legend, another all-time call from Legend. "We just got our ass kicked by the Gus Bus." Just hats off
Well,
to
and then we
Legend.
talked about that too. Like we said, like I know at least I did, and I think you agreed. Like we thought that was a good hire at OC. Gus Melt, like we're like,
Malzahn,
all
yeah.
right, like I get like Auburn fired him because he wasn't winning as much as they wanted him to, but Gus Mel's like the man took a defensive back and got to the national championship with
Yeah.
him as the quarterback. He knows what he's doing. It doesn't. Maybe sometimes he's not scoring like how people fall in love like with the OC who they're scoring like 50 something points a game. Maybe Gus Malzahn isn't doing that, but his offensives they run the ball a lot, so like it
Mhm.
might be 30 something points a game, but you saw it Saturday like
Yeah.
Alabama couldn't stop the run. They had like
Mhm.
280 yards or something like that rushing,
That
which
was
is
crazy. It was crazy.
how he runs his
That one true
offense.
freshman that Florida State had was just I don't know where they found that guy. They found him in a football factory somewhere on, like, a grass field in Florida. But speaking of the other Florida team that had a big win, the Miami Hurricanes toppled the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And I wanna say, like, I think out of all, like, the big teams that lost this weekend, I think Notre Dame is in the least amount of panic. Like, honestly, like, I just thought that I mean, you could make an argument for the offensive line for Notre Dame was really bad at times, but other than that, it was like, I kinda saw what I expected, 2 great teams went at it, and shoot, whoever that true freshman receiver for Miami just decided to explode onto the scene. That's where I saw the difference.
Yeah, so I'll put it this way. I have my playoff teams in different categories. All the teams who won are in the good category. Notre Dame and Texas are in I'm concerned that they lost, but I'm not worried. Alabama is in the worried column. So good, concerned, worried. There's a difference between
What
concern and worry.
what are you worried about with Notre Dame?
I'm concerned.
Oh,
I'm concerned about
concerned. Oh, sorry. Yes, concerned. What are you concerned about with Notre Dame?
I'm concerned about the offensive line, and I'm concerned that they weren't. I thought they should have ran Jeremiah Love more,
Well, he was spamming the hurdle button. He was spamming the hurdle button.
which he is insane at hurdle. Like it is like crazy how much he like. They told him last year they're like don't hurdle, and he like can't help himself. He's like it's like the telling the kids not to put like something metal in a light socket. Like he just has to do it. Uh that would be my biggest concern with them. I still think they'll be completely like I think they got going too late more than anything. Like
Mhm.
once they did get going, I thought they looked fine. I like texted you. I was like, "Watch, Notre Dame's gonna get down." I don't remember the exact. I said like 20-7, and then
Yep.
tie the game, and
I
someone's
mean,
gonna win by 3, and that's
yeah.
just my like, and maybe people under rated Miami. Like Cristobal is he's a good coach too, and but that's what you want to see, and that's what I do like about the playoff. And two things can be true. I like about the playoff that Notre Dame lost still has a chance to win the national championship. On the flip side of that, it also kind of like I don't think anyone in the middle of that game was thinking like, oh, this is like, or at the end of that game was thinking this is a great game, but like I wish it was like a national title eliminator.
Mhm.
Like it does take that part away. But I thought you like, I mean, we neither one of us had Miami in our
I know it's making me a
playoff,
little
and Carson
nervous
Beck,
almost.
he looked
He
good too.
Look,
Like,
Carson Beck was really, really good 2 years ago. Like, he was someone that I thought was gonna be a first round pick last year, just kind of sputtered a little bit, but he looked maybe he's not the first round pick that we all thought he was, but shit, the way he played yesterday, he looked like a guy that's gonna get drafted. Like, he was making
yeah,
NFL throws, he was dotting them up, and, his post-game interview, while it was corny, was from the heart. It seems like he's in, like, a better mind space now. Like, Miami's got an I'll say easier schedule than a lot of other teams in the country. So,
well,
Miami definitely is worrying me as in terms of bumping a team out of my playoff prediction bracket.
and I think too for Notre Dame when they like watch the tape, they'll be able to look back and go, okay, that first touchdown that Miami had was on 3rd and long, I think, and he kind of just threw it up there and they got beat, and then the one at halftime with the one-handed
The
catch. I think those are
one-hander.
both teachable moments for Notre Dame that you can look back and go, okay, like if we limit like the like things that going for the ball instead of just making sure you
Mhm.
make sure it's an incomplete pass, I think they'll be completely fine. I mean, they do have A&M coming up. They got to win that one, and they
They have
have
to.
USC still. Have Boise State, even though that doesn't look as nearly as I don't know if they were ever daunted by that, anyways. But it definitely doesn't look
They're
daunting
definitely
now.
not daunting now. I mean, we don't even have time in this show to talk about Boise State. We will if they lose to Eastern Washington. Shoot, we will have to dedicate an entire program for that. We may even do a live for that one,
For
honestly.
that one.
I will
But
be
yeah,
yeah,
that that's what I took away from week one is I wouldn't say besides Alabama that and I had Notre Dame winning the national title. Concerned that they lost, not worried. Alabama, I am they are on the worry scale.
well, that's fair. No, I mean it was a great week one. Other than that, not doing the voicing bowl yet. But last thing, just quickly, I mean, Bill Belichick, the tap people who don't watch college football, Zooch, we hype up Belichick, and it's like, yes, he's a great coach, but everyone who actually knew what was going to happen, man, the the talent that UNC has is so far away from like competing. Like, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah, and
it's
it's gonna take a year or 2 for them to, and I don't doubt that he can get it going there. It is different, you know? Like, on one hand, you saw, and I think it kinda contributed to how Arch Manning played. It is true that Matt Patricia is, like, game planning for, Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Joe Burrow, people like that. But on one hand, he also has the Ohio State defense, and while Bill Belichick is, I mean, you're an idiot if you say he's not a great head coach. The dude won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach. There's a big difference, though, from going to where you're drafting and uh, signing via free agency the guys you want to going to a school that's been kind of down, which also UNC, a top 5 color combo in all of sports.
Mhm.
Like, it looks
TCU,
great on.
that was an all-time color matchup yesterday. TCU home. Also, did you see the TCU one last thing? You see the TCU Twitter just go full scorched earth after the game?
I mean, it's, and you're gonna, as North Carolina fans, you got to know that you're gonna get memed with that whole his girlfriend situation.
Yep.
Like, you just, which the funniest tweet from that game didn't even include her. It was LT talking to Michael Jordan, and he like puts his arm around Michael Jordan
Yeah.
and says something, and immediately Michael Jordan's like, no, and someone goes, "What did LT to say to make Michael Jordan immediately say no?" Like, that was the funny, because those two, and like Michael Jordan just, like, also, like, I don't ever think he even, like, has been pictured drinking, like, a beer, and then you have LT, who was, like, did every drug known to man and drank all the time. Both all-time greats, like, Lawrence Taylor highlights are some of the
Dude,
best things you
it's
can watch
just
on YouTube, but
it's the dichotomy of like Michael Jordan, like move in silence, like golf and drink a ton and gamble with your friends, and then LT's like, yeah, let's just go to a club in New York and like, I guess bang lines until like 5 a.m. and like
he'll
admit that
have
like,
9
yeah, the reason,
sacks tomorrow.
yeah, like the reason why I played well was because I was on illicit substances. But yeah, just an overall great weekend, college football, and we got the slate is kind of good. It's pretty good. I'm going to be in Boise uh, today watching the Boise State game, but tomorrow we have some solid matchups, and there's one that sticks out in particular. It's a settle down bowl. We have Tyler Lewis. Congratulations on the wedding last week. He's enjoying his honeymoon right now. Versus Team Voisin. And I will say this could be the biggest game for Team Voice in the while. I haven't seen Zach and Cody this fired up since the first year of the Venables era, if I'm being honest with you. And I was able to get a quote from Zach and Cody about this game. It's Zach. So Zach Voisin has said about the Michigan Oklahoma game. He goes 6 words: rude awakening for the freshmen in. Cody says, I just want to say this. The team looks good on paper. Defense was solid last year, but our offense lacked a true QB and leader, and we got one this year. I think this OU team will shock a lot of people, including that freshman QB for Michigan. So, a lot of emphasis on the freshman QB. Lot of emphasis.
Also, was there a QB that lacked effort? The same one that just looked really, really good for Auburn when they beat
Yeah,
Baylor.
probably leading the
Maybe they
Heisman
lacked
odds right
effort
now.
because they were throwing to team managers for half the season. That might like be like, all right, I'm over this.
But no, I'm really excited. And I mean, they have a point though with Bryce Underwood. This is kind of like is does Bryce Underwood, I don't want to say like fork in the road in terms of career, but is this like a if he balls out this, his like transcendent athlete path is just gonna take off. And if he struggles, it's like, okay, he's a freshman QB.
Well,
He's
and
gonna take a little
now
time.
for him, like all the news, all that kind of stuff, all the spotlight was on Arch Manning last weekend. Now it's going to be on him. They have the primetime game, playing a top 20 opponent. The big guys are doing the game, all that stuff. So we'll get to see, I didn't watch a ton of that Michigan game because it was on during the Ole Miss game and it was on during the Clemson LSU game. I would flip over there a couple times. I mean, it looks like he looked good, but there's a difference between New Mexico and Oklahoma. So
Yeah,
this is his first real test. Like, and like I know people like a big thing now when and some fan bases have said it because Ole Miss and Florida or Michigan or whoever USC played a crappy opponent their first week. It's not like all those reps they get are gonna still prepare you enough. Like that's not like a whole season. Like to develop someone, you really need like a whole season. It's not like oh, we played New Mexico this week, so now I'm ready to play anybody in the nation. So he's still probably going to have a few mistakes. Like he's a freshman. It's a lot different than high school. I'm leaning towards Michigan in this game.
Really?
I am. But I would not I'm picking Michigan, but I would not be surprised if you see like a 27-6 Oklahoma. And like neither offense looks great for the most part, but Oklahoma just has enough drives where they get points. And maybe it's 13-6, 13-7 going into the fourth. And Michigan's defense has just been out there a long time. And that's when the dam breaks, so to say. So
No, that's interesting. I actually have Oklahoma in this game because I am very high on John Mateer. I mean, I'm high on John Mateer. He's kind of like the third person of quarterbacks that no one else believes in but Diego Wilde. And it's Haynes King, Josh Hoover, and John Mateer. And there has been a fourth added. We finally got our leg. It is JKS from Cal, the best Samoan quarterback, the best Islander quarterback in the country. Sorry, Zooch. Austin Simmons, he's the second best. Now, okay, I'm sorry to go off track, but no one create any. I don't want to see any bloodline memes this year with any Samoan quarterback. Or I don't. Those were unacceptable for DJU last year, especially the ones saying he needs to join the WWF and be ringside for Roman Reigns. Those were just not okay last year.
the best one that he said something like, I'm open to new agencies, and someone just tweeted a picture of Paul Heyman at him. That was like the best one. I would laugh if I was him and I saw that. I'd be like, all right, that's pretty good.
But I have Oklahoma, man. I really like the way that Mateer played last week. I mean, broke the single game passing record for first game as a Sooner. And I think he continues to do that versus Michigan. I think there is something to say that it is played in Norman. So yeah, I got Oklahoma, man. But I do believe in Bryce Underwood, and I think it's going to be a close one. That Michigan spread, I think, is at 5.5 or 6.5. I don't like. I think Michigan could easily cover that. Easily.
It's an interesting game, and like it's a cool game. Like Michigan and Oklahoma playing is a cool matchup, despite it like both teams probably being able to like. Obviously, both teams can lose it and still make the playoff, but
Sorry, it's the same thing happened last year for the listeners. I totally forget, and it's September. The lights get dark, and I ended
it
up
happens to the
becoming a
best of us.
ghost.
So yeah, like I said, I'm excited for that matchup. The best part about it, and I gave him the choice. I gave Cody Gleason the choice. Do you want to have Friday off to go with us to the Boise State game, or do you want to help me with the work event on Saturday that will go till about 8 p.m.? And he chose the latter. So he will be in a food truck watching the game. I told him I'd bring my iPad, but he will be watching the game via iPad, which will be people are just it is like a private event, an old man's 80th birthday party, and he might just hear someone screaming about offensive linemen while making a brisket taco.
Oh, that's classic. It's all part of the experience, right? It adds loves. That's what makes Tin Roof so delicious. But quickly to touch on these games last week, I asked Such to grab an upset that he thinks is going to happen this week, or a game that we should all be on upset alert. And I think there's a chance that we both chose the same one. Honestly, when I was looking, I hate to go with the chalk answer here, but I really think this could be it, and that's Arizona State and Mississippi State. Like
Okay.
I could really see that game just going sideways. for Arizona State. Like it's just purely gut. It's at the same time as the Michigan Oklahoma, and I could totally see like Michigan Oklahoma like going away at the end. Then you flip the channel, it's like shit, is Mississippi State up 2 right now with 8 minutes left to play against Arizona State? And those cowbells are going, and Sam Levitt, like, rattled, and, like, Dillingham just has, like, the look that he just wants to, like, murder his, like, punter on, like, the sidelines. So, yeah, that's the game. Everyone keep an eye on that one. Mississippi State, Arizona State.
Yeah, I honestly, I almost went with that one. That's who I was gonna go with, like you said. But I think I'm gonna go Duke over Illinois. Early game.
Ooh.
I think that like Illinois is not, and neither is Duke. So like, but we're picking an upset. So what the hell? Like I just don't know. Like I think that one might be one that Duke like has been prepared for. Like it could be a good one. I don't. I have. It's also I'm gonna get out of the way. It's my main matchup of the week. It's Manny Diaz versus Brett Bielema. That's just like a hilarious like coaching matchup. Like I mean, you got
Well, let's go to the
Bielema
match.
who
Yeah.
like
There we go. Let's just do
Bielema
it.
who went to Arkansas and it was just a travesty. You have I almost said Mario Cristobal, Manny Diaz, who was
I
like
mean,
at
Manny Diaz
Temple
is
for like
kind of
4 days and then went to Miami. Like,
is Manny Diaz like a Charmeleon version of Mario Cristobal's like Charizard? And
yeah.
then Danny Boy Kane is the Charmander.
Well, he was like, and if you remember when we were younger, he was like one of the next big things, Manny Diaz. Like, he was getting all these defensive coordinator jobs at Texas and all like good schools. And he just, I won't say flamed out because he's still a head coach, but he went down to Miami and it just didn't work out for him. And I'm like, some guys are just better in spots like Duke. And I mean, the same I think can be said for Brett Bielema. Like, and I don't think it necessarily makes you a bad coach. I think almost you can concentrate more on, like, I think that's what gets in the way of people sometimes is at these bigger schools, it's more than just what you do with your staff or whatever, like on the field. Like, there's a lot more to it. It's kind of like being the head coach of the Cowboys, right? Like,
Mhm.
would you say that being the head coach of the Cowboys is different than being the head coach of the Jaguars?
100%.
Yeah, so it's like it's a good matchup. Like I think Duke ended with 9 wins last year. Illinois was kind of like trying to get their way into the playoff. They were certainly aiming to get in there. And if like it's one of those ones that both teams have to have, because realistically they're not going to go undefeated in their conference or anything like that. So I'm going to go with the Blue Devils. They're riding
Yeah.
high after UNC just got killed. So
Yep. I have a another funny meme matchup, and it is USC versus Georgia Southern. Clay Helton is making his return to the Coliseum. That's Rose Bowl winning coach Clay Helton. I got some buddies going to the game that are just like fired up about this matchup, and it's just Clay Helton's returning. I think his team is 28-point underdogs. Like
they got
it's just
killed by
it's funny.
Fresno State, and they're staying in
Yeah,
California all
so
week.
that's
So the
so that was
fellas,
part of my
like,
me matchup, was that he said he was gonna take his team to Disneyland this week.
okay,
I don't again, just this needs to stop. It just come on. Also, like, where is he practicing? Everyone down here like bleeds like USC. It's not like the pros where it's like, oh, we're gonna find like we'll like pay some college and go practice, or like, oh, the owner went to this like university so we could use their facilities. Like, are they using like some like high school's field like all
so I
week?
was gonna say from my experience going to like different bowl games and stuff, a lot of the times, yeah, you'll use a high school field. Just like they let you come there and like sometimes they'll let like the high school team kind of watch you practice and stuff like that. I know, for example, like even BSU used to like, and I know this will make sense to anybody that didn't go to Boise State, but outside of our student union building, like if the student union building is right here, it's right here. That old like intramural field where you see the weirdos playing Quidditch.
Yeah.
Like my first year, that's where they did a lot of practice on fall camp because it's real grass, all that kind of stuff. Eventually, BSU built their own little field that they use now. Like it's the one that like you can go into for tailgating and stuff like that. They have
Yeah.
an indoor, and then obviously they have the blue. But my first and second year, I think I don't, and I the older I get, the more I realize, like, because I used to like not believe. I'm like, how does somebody not believe like exactly how that went down? And now, I mean, it's been like a decade, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand because I don't remember the exact details. But yeah, we would even go to different high schools and practice. Like, there was one time we went like 30 minutes to some school. I'm like, why in the hell are we going all the way over here to do like a fall camp hour and a half practice? So I think that's what they're probably doing is somewhere by their hotel, a school's letting them use their field, you know. Realistically, all you need is and I'm guessing they had the game Saturday, went back to whatever like, I'm sure they drove, I would guess, from Fresno
Yeah.
to
It's about a 4-hour drive.
LA, and you just need the field really for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, USC will let them
Well,
use
you have to go
the
to
Rose Bowl to
Disneyland
do
on
their
You have to go to Disneyland on Wednesday.
That is I did not know they were going to Disneyland. That is
I don't know.
I've
I coulda
actually
got dude, I want to confirm this.
I have
Okay.
right now, it's the Georgia Southern T-shirt I bought when Boise State played them last year. If
Huh.
I can get it out of my sweatshirt. It was a cool campus. It was also hot as all hell during that game, and that's when we saw the BSC fan get taken down by the authority for something that happened in the stands. That is a mean matchup, though. Clay Helton, the brisket man himself, on the other side. USC looked good. I mean, I know they were playing. Who was it? Like New
USC's got a
Hampshire,
bad
Missouri
history of
State.
USC has a bad history of coaches just butchering cuts of meat with Lincoln Riley and Clay Helton.
Clay Helton was so that was. I don't know what USC was thinking with that one, but you know what?
Hey, it got him a Rose Bowl. It set him back a few years, but oh well. We're gonna move on to the last part of the show and our first one of the year, the list. I mean, for those who don't know the list, anytime there's a college football weekend, the app formerly known as Twitter fires up, and college fans across the country uh, explode their passions into this app. Um, and whether it's good or bad or ugly, they have some very, very funny posts. As always, I have the disclaimer: we neither support nor deny these posts. We just are showing you what we are seeing in our For You pages. Let's end the show. You know what? I think I'm going to start it off, Zooch. I'm not going to lie. I think I got three real funny ones that you might even have yourself. So the first one comes from at Emma G Sports. It's talking about the Alabama fan base. It goes, "How's the fan base handling the loss?" And then she goes, "I just saw an edit of Jalen Milrow Frey play background. It just down bad. Just kidding. Just down bad." The second one comes from at Rich Pizza Roll, username the DUI Rebel. His and I just want to say he's on the list, the DUI Rebel, just for his profile picture, which is the guy who had his pants off in that drive-through thing, with a Ole Miss straw hat photoshopped on. So that by himself gets him on the list. And all it is just a picture. This kid is not ready for SEC play. I can only imagine it is a kid passed out in the stall at what's your guys' stadium? Hemingway?
Vaught Hemingway.
Yeah, passed out at Vaught Hemingway. Zooch, as someone who's been to that stadium, have you seen a scene like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I was in Oxford last weekend, like when they were first starting school, and or the weekend before they started school, and it was just in the air. You're like, you would see some freshmen walking down the street, and I'm like, yep, you are about to get hazed like you never have before, in exactly 1 week. So I hope you've been drinking some water, maybe some electrolytes, because it's coming. They're gonna put that blue blazer on you, and you're gonna be
Yep.
passed out in a bathroom stall.
No, that's how it goes. The last one comes. It's actually a video. It comes from Justin Ferguson, and I know Miami lost, and this was the one that absolutely like floored me. Like I was pissing my
Is he
pants
the
laughing.
dude with the guy with the blonde hair and sunglasses in his profile
Yes,
pic? That okay, I've seen him before.
yes, he is a great account, and all it says is Mario Cristobal with the lead, and it is that mini horse who it is the video of the mini horse just with his nose all over like the piano, waking the child up, and
Oh,
it's like
did you see?
woo 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 woo.
Did you see?
What?
Speaking of that, so I don't know if you did, but when I was watching that Notre Dame Miami game, I'm like, this is kind of weird that they're like just not trying to get another first down. Like Notre Dame's gonna have like a minute left. That's like a long
No,
time.
it's
But
classic Cristobal like time
he didn't
management.
realize he didn't realize that Notre Dame had three timeouts. Because I saw a video and like they took the third one. He's
Oh
like,
my
"Are you serious?"
Oh my gosh. No, no, he's a good coach, but that's been his Achilles heel is like those time decisions. But yeah, those are my three lists. There's obviously a couple that I couldn't share. If you want to see them, please DM the account, DM me. I will be more than happy to send them to you. But those are my three. Very, very funny.
So my first one comes from Rex Volcano, and it is a quote tweet of the Cal punter who is named Abram Murray.
Yep.
And I'll see if I can get him in here.
Yep.
That is what he looks like. And it just says, big fan of having a kicker who looks like a member of Dutch Vanderline's. And
Ah,
then the No Context College Football tweeted a video of I can't think of the Cougar's name from BYU off the
Cosmo.
top of my head. Cosmo, yes, the Cougar jumping like belly flopping into a pool, and the Grizzly Adams at DC
Oh
Gator
no.
13 just said, "Is this soaking?" And
List.
then finally, I have oh no, where did I go? I am pulling it up right now. There's so many. We sent each other probably
And like we said,
50.
there are some that we physically like cannot put on YouTube
Ah,
because of they will shadow ban us. But if you like to see them, please DDM us. We will be more than happy to send some of
this
these ones
one
over.
is 7 years old, and it probably was my favorite. I didn't think I could have any like better ones over the weekend. This one I actually saw last night, and it is from Christmas Eve on 2018, and it's from Jerry Rice, and it just says,
Yep.
"RPO is conservative trickery. What
Yeah.
happened to lining up and the best man will win?"
Yes, that will. That is classic. Yeah, no,
And
that was a
then
good
the
list.
response to him was just that picture, which come on.
Just classic. And then a late addition to the list that both Zooch pointed out to me. It'll have already happened, but this is very Boise specific. So if you're not a Boise fan, log off the show. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Like and subscribe. But Zooch, the like you said, the shirts and skins one from the time of
That was
recording
a good one.
today. So BJ Rains, the local beat reporter, said that Boise State is making special teams coordinator Stacy Collins available to the media after practice. Of course, Stacy Collins has had his ups and downs at Boise State as special teams coordinator, famously missing, not realizing the backup QB was in at punter for the game against USF. And the Shirts and
That's so
Skins
bad.
podcast goes, BJ, you should wear a disguise and see if he recognizes you.
Not just on Stacey Collins, that is on everybody
Yep.
who had something BSU affiliated and was either on that sideline or up in the coaches booth.
Stand.
The
Yep.
fact that nobody saw that is amazing. Like truly, like, and I think most people who listen to the podcast know there is about 100 freaking coaches
Yep.
in the press box and on the sideline. Come on.
And the crazy part was like I'm pretty sure like one of the ESPN like, keys to the game was like, oh, like watch out for them to do like some trick plays. Like so they're obviously like Alex Golesh is like known for like having trick plays too. Like it's not like oh well.
And I and we'll end on this, but when I was watching the game, was with my buddy Troy, and I was like, "Why in the hell does that punter have, like, a cannon of an arm?" Because I was like, "That was such a good throw for a punter," and it's like, "Oh, it was the backup quarterback." I'm like, "Ah, sweet. That's, they're doing that, and our quarterback is dropping the ball mid-throw." So that's how Boise State. That's how it'll put us this weekend.
Oh, it is what it is. But yeah, another solid week of college ball, man. I'm going to be in Boise this week, Lincoln to watch some. It's going to be a weird game because everyone's going to be watching the NFL, which is on at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, excited for this weekend and excited to watch some more college football on Saturday. Zooch, do you have anything else for us?
Nothing else. Enjoy the games. That is, we're now, it'll be over before we know it. Already one Saturday down.
We are one
A
Saturday down.
handful, of more than a handful, but about 15 or so left. So
I cannot wait. Thank you, everyone, for listening as always, and enjoy your weekends.